Hi, my name is Taylor Donellan, and this is my EcoJustice presentation on commercial fishing. According to Commercial Fishing by Encyclopedia Britannica 2025, it talks about how commercial fishing involves catching fish and other seafood from bodies of water like oceans, rivers, and lakes to sell them for profit. It is a major industry that supplies food to markets and restaurants around the world. This type of fishing includes boats, nets, and other equipment to catch large quantities of seafood, and it plays a big role in the global economy and food supply. Some of the major environmental issues of commercial fishing include high demand for fish, pollution, bycatch, unsustainability, and the amount of fishing vessels and how easily it is to break the law. Fish is the main protein source for millions of people, and according to the environmental impact of the fishing industry by Sarah Berman 2021, it states that the commercial fishing industry operates unsustainability in order to meet the high demands for seafood. Primarily caring about profit, the industry overlooks both sustainability of their practices and the way it affects marine life. Not only is there a lot of bycatch that is happening, which means animals such as turtles, seals, whales, sharks, and more are being caught, but these fishermen are also losing or dropping their gear such as nets and other equipment that are polluting our oceans and harming the animals. According to a summary of Seaspiracy, A Shock to the System by Big Blue Ocean Cleanup 2021, it states that 80% of all life on Earth resides in the ocean, making the destruction we are causing to the ecosystems even more disturbing. With how many fishing vessels there are, which is thought to be around almost 5 million, it is easy for them to break the law because most of them are in the middle of the ocean, so it is easier to break the rules and not follow the guidelines. According to Risky Work, Commercial Fishing Health Tool by Taylor Knopf 2024, broken bones and lacerations are common. Fishermen are disproportionately affected by skin cancer, specifically most complain of back pain and others lose limbs. Also, many don't have health insurance. Fishermen also experience drowning, anxiety, depression, and risk getting injured on the job. A public health impact is how fresh and old the fish are that they consume. Many pieces of fish have injections in them to make them look more appetizing and last longer. According to Overfishing and the Environmental Societal Impact on the World by Conservation Blog 2020, overfishing from commercial fishing boats and corporations has proven to be one of the most prominent threats to wildlife and ecosystems that exist in the ocean. Overfishing happens when fish are being taken faster than they can reproduce. Illegal fishing happens to keep up with the high demand of fish that needs to be caught, ruining ecosystems by dragging nets as long as football fields across the bottom of the ocean floor, ruining the plants and the animals' homes. Some other social impacts are that it decreases food security and it declines wildlife. According to Stakeholders in Commercial Fishing by Sustainable Fisheries UW 2019, it talks about how the stakeholders in commercial fishing. The direct stakeholders are the fishermen and the processors. These are considered the workers. Commercial fishing directly provides 40 million people with jobs around the world. More than 200 million are indirectly employed. There are also capital stakeholders, which includes the fishing vessels and the seafood companies. There are 4.6 million fishing vessels in the world, and this industry is worth over $250 billion. There are also food stakeholders, which include retail outlets such as restaurants or stores, and seafood consumers. There have been documentaries such as Seaspiracy in the Cove. There are many blogs about this issue trying to let people know what's going on. Advocate groups help stop this problem. There are many protests that also go on, especially in areas that have oceans. Many websites explain this issue, and it's pretty easy to look up commercial fishing and you'll find a bunch of articles or resources on this topic. According to Chapter 6 of our textbook, Phases of Social Work Practice for Environmental Justice by Christina L. Erickson, she talks about the phases of social work practice, which are telling and explaining the story, describing the preferred reality, making plans and dreams real, and evaluating outcomes and making transitions. I believe that we are constantly in the describing a preferred reality because it is hard to make changes to this problem because of how huge of an industry it is, and how many fishermen get away with illegal fishing because of how many vessels there are in the locations that they're able to go. This industry also makes a ton of money and provides millions of people with jobs, so it is hard to make a huge change to this problem when it is easy for these people to get away with whatever they want. The picture on the left is the documentary Seaspiracy. This documentary was probably one of the most insane things I have ever watched in my life, and I will probably never eat seafood again. It just really goes over like what commercial fishing really is and the secrets that are behind it and everything that they do as far as making the fish look appetizing, or there's fish farms, and when you are kind of listening and watching and hearing about how these big nets drag down on the bottom of the ocean floors, catching things that aren't even being used, such as whales and dolphins and seals and turtles and octopus and all sorts of things. It's really sad, and it really makes you kind of like want to learn. So this is a documentary I really suggest if you are interested in learning about kind of how we get our seafood and how the process works. The next documentary is called The Cove, and this is a little bit different. It's based off in Taiji, Japan, and it's still based off of commercial fishing, just not as much as Seaspiracy. But what it's about is these fishermen, they hunt and kill dolphins for profit, and in Japan they eat dolphins. But you know, the story behind it is honestly like insane, and it is really a good documentary to watch, but I will say it's really sad. And I love dolphins and I love the ocean, so this topic is really like important to me. But these are two really good documentaries if you're just really interested in this topic, or if you want something interesting to learn about. I can't recommend these two documentaries enough. I think that they are very informative, and it's just crazy what you learn. So these are my references. Thank you so much. If you have any questions about any of the documentaries or the research I did, just let me know. Thank you.